Hello, Greece. My name is Alex North, and I'm really excited for you to read my novel, The Whisper Man, and I'm here today to tell you a little bit about it. Okay, so The Whisper Man is the tale of a grieving father and son, Tom and Jake Kennedy, who have lost Tom's wife and Jake's mother, and who are struggling to connect with each other. Jake is quite a troubled little boy. He has imaginary friends that he talks to who seem quite sinister, and he and Tom find it hard to talk. But the village they moved to, Tom doesn't realise, Featherbank, 20 years earlier, there was a serial killer there who abducted 5 young boys. Before he was caught, he was called the Whisper Man on account of the fact that he would whisper outside the boys' bedroom windows on an evening. Now another little boy has gone missing, and Jake begins acting very strangely and claims that he hears a whispering outside the window himself. Okay, where did I get the idea for the novel? Well, the initial idea was I wanted to write about a father and son, specifically a father and son who had lost their mother, or a little boy had lost his mother, and they had to kind of struggle to connect with each other. But I knew I wanted it to be spooky and creepy, and I knew I wanted it to be a crime novel as well. And I've always been fascinated by the online forums and the threads you see. You read where kids talk about parents talk about the creepy things that their kids have said. And one day I have a son, and when we moved into our new house, he was about 4. He started talking about playing with the boy in the floor for a day, and that really kind of stayed with me and it kind of gave me a bit of a chill and stayed with me. And I thought that there's a book in that, you know. And so I knew from there that the little boy in my story would have imaginary friends, and that some of them would be quite scary. What books inspired me in writing the novel? Well, I mean, I'm probably influenced in some way, like everyone, by everything that I read, but an obvious book, or perhaps not an obvious one, is Power of Three by Diana Wynne Jones, which is a kind of young adult fantasy novel from years ago, and I read it as a child, and it's about a father and son who don't understand each other. The father is like this legendary hero, and his son feels that he can't live up to him, and his father can't relate to this sensitive son, and in the course of the book, which is like this amazing fantasy story, they have to find each other. And I read it as a child, and I read it fairly recently to my son at bedtime as well, and it just seemed very appropriate to the themes of the book. And so in The Whisper Man, that's the book that Tom is reading to Jake at bedtime. So I suppose amongst all the other influences, that's the one that stands out for me. What am I writing next? Well, I'm very superstitious about talking about work in progress for a couple of reasons. One, I feel that if you talk about it too much, the urge to write it down kind of disappears slightly. But also, I never really know what the book's going to be about until I've finished it. So at the moment, it's another spooky psychological thriller. It's about a murder and an impossible disappearance from years earlier that has to be investigated in the present day. But I will need to finish writing it to make sure that that's what it really is about.